Our story begins on a mountain in Europe, once vibrant, now fading into silence. For centuries, it was alive with green meadows and forests, but now the land is hard, the rain runs off in muddy torrents, and life is vanishing. The problem? The mountain became too tidy, too empty. Its wild animals, the natural gardeners, were gone. Without them, coarse grasses and dense scrub choked out wildflowers and saplings, leaving no room for new life. The soil grew poor, insects disappeared, and birds followed, leaving the mountain eerily quiet. Scientists watched in alarm, realizing that simply planting trees or seeds wouldn't restore the land. The missing piece wasn't just a plant or a tree, it was an animal, a force of nature. The land needed more than protection, it needed a return to the wild processes that shaped it. The idea was radical. What if the solution was to bring back a living, breathing animal from the past? They looked to the wild horse, extinct in this region for centuries, but whose impact still lingered in the land's memory. Horses could break up soil, spread seeds, and create space for diversity to flourish. The mountain needed a powerful natural force to revive its wild heart. The answer wasn't technology or management, it was to restore the architects of wildness. The wild horse was the missing keystone, the spirit the mountain needed to breathe again. And so, the plan to bring back the wild horse began. Why horses? Because wild horses are ecosystem engineers, not just grazers. For millennia, they shaped Europe's landscapes, creating a patchwork of habitats through their selective grazing and movement. Their hooves break up soil, their grazing opens up dense vegetation, and their droppings spread seeds and nutrients. Horses create a mosaic of short and tall grass, vital for biodiversity. They disperse seeds far and wide, each one fertilized and ready to grow. By bringing back horses, scientists weren't just adding an animal. They were restoring a process, a living tool for recovery. The hope to reawaken the ancient dynamic relationship between large herbivores and the land and bring the mountain back to life. The original wild horse, the tarpon, was extinct, but its genes survived in hardy domestic breeds. Through selective breeding, conservationists recreated a horse similar to its ancestor, the Exmoor pony, tough and wild. Preparing the mountain meant removing internal fences, letting the animals roam freely. The goal wasn't to manage the horses, but to let nature take the lead. When the horses arrived, they hesitated only briefly before galloping into their new home, a true homecoming. The herd explored, tracing old paths, tasting grasses, and re-establishing ancient rhythms. Scientists watched from afar, tracking their movements but letting the process unfold naturally. The first hoofprints marked the beginning of a new chapter for the mountain. This was not just an animal release, it was the return of a vital life force. The wild heart of nature was beating again. In the first year, the horses roamed, creating trails that broke up the mat of grass and opened the land. Their hooves churned the soil, exposing bare earth, exactly the disturbance the mountain needed. By the second year, the changes were dramatic. Rainwater, once lost to runoff, now soaked into the ground. Thanks to hoofprints and grazed patches acting like a sponge, springs and streams returned, rehydrating the mountain. Around these revived waters, lush plants flourished, replacing the old monotony with a patchwork of habitats. The horses' messy grazing created sunny and shady spots, wet and dry patches, complexity that fueled life. The mountain transformed from a dying entity to thousands of thriving microhabitats. Scientists were stunned by the speed and scale of change. The horses' presence reshaped not just vegetation, but the land's very hydrology. The return of water was a revelation, proof of the deep influence of a keystone species. In just 2 years, the horses had become hydrological engineers. The mountain was alive again. Where horses grazed, dominant grasses weakened, and wildflowers returned, some unseen for a century. Orchids and rare blooms emerged from the soil, their seeds awakened by disturbance. Horse droppings became hotspots for thistles, attracting bees and butterflies. Insects flourished, drawing back birds like windchats and stonechats, and even birds of prey. Dung beetles arrived, enriching the soil and accelerating recovery. The air buzzed with life, and the food web rebuilt itself from the ground up. Horses created muddy wallows, temporary ponds for frogs and dragonflies. Their movement kept grasslands open, balancing meadow and woodland. Ecologists call this structural heterogeneity, a messy, complex landscape full of niches. This beautiful messiness was the secret to the mountain's resilience and rebirth. The transformation stunned scientists. What was expected to take a decade happened in just 2 years. The horses weren't just restoring biodiversity, they were unlocking the mountain's ability to heal itself. Their impact as physical engineers rehydrating the land was a game changer. Rewilding with large animals proved more effective than any human-made solution for water and flood management. The project shifted conservation, thinking nature isn't static, but dynamic and self-renewing. The goal became restoring natural processes, not freezing landscapes in time. The horses showed that stepping back and letting nature lead is often the best approach. The landscape they created, a wood pasture, was once common, now rare, but vital for biodiversity. The project revealed that much of Europe's natural state is a dynamic mosaic, not dense forest. This was a glimpse into a wilder, richer past and a possible future. The mountain's revival became a lesson in humility and hope. This mountain story is now a blueprint for rewilding across Europe. Instead of protecting tiny fragments, we can restore whole landscapes and natural processes. Rewilding offers a practical, hopeful solution to climate and biodiversity crises, using nature's own power. As rural lands are abandoned, they become opportunities for wild recovery, not problems. By reintroducing keystone species, we can connect habitats and build resilience for the future. The horse's success shows nature can heal itself if given the chance. In just 2 years, a small herd rewound centuries of decline and revived a mountain. Their hoofbeats echo a simple message: let nature lead and watch the world come alive.